Ever wondered what it was really like to be a Roman legionary? Forget the glorious battles you see in movies for a second. The daily life of a soldier was often a brutal, relentless grind, and the most common enemy wasn't another army but the road itself. Today, we're diving into the harsh reality of marching in the Roman army. Let's start with the basics. The march itself. A Roman legionary was expected to cover a standard distance, or justum iter asterisk, of about 20 Roman miles, which is roughly 18.5 modern miles, or 30 kilometers. And they had to do this in about 5 hours during the summer. But that was just the standard. On a forced march, magnum iter asterisk, they could be pushed to cover up to 30 Roman miles. That's nearly 28 modern miles, or 45 kilometers in a single day. Imagine running a marathon but not on a nice paved road with water stations. You're doing it on uneven terrain, through forests, over hills, and across rivers. And you're not doing it in lightweight running gear. This brings us to what they carried. Every single soldier was a walking pack mule. In fact, they earned the nickname Marius' Mules after the general Gaius Marius, who reformed the army and made the soldiers carry most of their own equipment to reduce the size of the baggage train. So what was in this monstrously heavy pack? First, you have your personal armor and weapons. The iconic Larica segmentata the segmented plate armor, weighed about 20 pounds or 9 kilograms. Then there's the helmet, the Gallia another 4 to 5 pounds. Add the large rectangular shield, the scutum which could weigh over 22 pounds or 10 kilograms. Don't forget your primary throwing weapon, the pilum a heavy javelin weighing around 4 to 5 pounds, and your short sword, the gladius another couple of pounds. So, just in combat gear, you're already carrying around 50 pounds or 23 kilograms. But that's not all. Not even close. On top of their armor, each soldier carried a pack, called a sarsana slung over a T-shaped pole called a furca This made it easier to carry and quickly unsling. Inside this pack was everything they needed to survive. This included their rations, usually wheat or grain, which they had to grind themselves to make bread or porridge. They'd carry enough for several days, sometimes up to 15 days' worth, which could weigh a staggering 30 pounds on its own. Then you have your personal kit, a cooking pot, a drinking flask, a sickle for foraging or clearing brush, a small shovel or pickaxe called a dalabra and 2 heavy wooden stakes or sida for building the camp's palisade wall. Add a spare tunic, a cloak for cold nights and any personal items, and you're looking at a total weight of 80 to 100 pounds or 36 to 45 kilograms. All of this carried for 20 miles every single day. The physical endurance required is almost superhuman by modern standards. You might think that after marching 20 miles with 100 pounds on your back, you'd get to collapse and rest. You would be wrong. The moment the legion arrived at its destination for the night, the work had just begun. Security was paramount. A Roman army on the move never, ever slept in an unsecured location. Every single night, they built a fully fortified marching camp from scratch. This was a masterpiece of engineering and discipline. The moment they halted, the centurions would mark out the perimeter of a perfect rectangular camp. Then the real labor started. Some soldiers would stand guard, fully armed, while the rest got to work. Using the shovels and pickaxes they had carried all day, they would dig a defensive ditch, sometimes 10 feet wide and 10 feet deep, around the entire perimeter. The earth from the ditch was used to build a rampart, a wall of packed earth behind it. And what went on top of that wall? Those 2 heavy wooden stakes each soldier carried. With thousands of soldiers, these stakes were quickly hammered into the top of the rampart to create a sharp, formidable palisade fence. Inside the camp, it was a city in miniature. Streets were laid out in a precise grid pattern. Tents were pitched in the exact same spot every single night, organized by cohort and century. The general's tent, the praetorium, was always at the center. This level of organization meant that even in the dark or in the chaos of an attack, every soldier knew exactly where to go and what to do. The entire process from breaking ground to a fully fortified camp could be completed in just a few hours. Only then, after the walls were up and the sentries posted, could the legionary finally take off his pack, grind his grain, cook his meal, and try to get some sleep before doing it all over again the next day. And let's not forget the conditions they marched in. The Roman Empire was vast, stretching from the drizzly, cold forests of Britain and Germany to the scorching deserts of Syria and North Africa. The legionaries had to endure it all. Imagine marching in the blistering heat of an Egyptian summer, the sun beating down on your metal helmet and armor, water being strictly rationed. Dehydration and heat stroke were constant threats. Now picture the opposite extreme, a winter campaign in Germania. You're marching through knee-deep snow or on frozen, icy roads. Your leather sandals, or *Caligay*, offer little protection from the biting cold. Frostbite was a real and present danger. Perhaps the worst, though, was the mud. In places like Gaul or Britain, seasonal rains could turn the famous Roman roads into quagmires of thick, sticky mud. Every step would be a struggle, sucking at your feet, trying to pull your sandals off. The weight on your back would feel twice as heavy. The legionary's cloak, the *sagum*, was made of thick wool and offered some protection, but after hours of marching in relentless, freezing rain, you would be soaked to the bone, chilled, and miserable. There was no Gore-Tex in ancient Rome, you simply had to endure. So what happened if you couldn't keep up? The Roman army was a machine, and it had little tolerance for weak parts. The pace was set by the aquilifer, the soldier carrying the legion's eagle standard, and everyone was expected to maintain formation. Falling behind wasn't really an option. The NCOs of the Roman army, the centurions and optios, were notoriously harsh disciplinarians. The centurion carried a vine staff, the *vitus*, and he was not afraid to use it to encourage stragglers. A beating was one of the more minor punishments. If a soldier was seen as lazy or willfully disobedient, he could be put on barley rations instead of wheat, a sign of disgrace, or given extra, humiliating duties like cleaning the camp latrines. For more serious offenses or for simply being unable to continue, the consequences could be dire. In enemy territory, a soldier who fell behind was a dead man. The army would not stop for him. He would be left to the mercy of the elements, or, more likely, local tribes who would be all too happy to find an isolated, exhausted Roman soldier. His fate would be swift and brutal. The legion was a collective. The survival of the group depended on every single man pulling his weight, quite literally. The relentless pace and brutal discipline were designed to forge soldiers who could and would endure anything. There was no room for individual weakness. The brutal reality of the march shaped the Roman soldier into one of the most effective fighting men in history. It built incredible physical stamina, mental fortitude, and an unbreakable sense of discipline and cohesion. When you think of the Roman legions, remember that their greatest victories weren't just won with swords and shields in battle. They were won on the road, one grueling, exhausting, and relentless step at a time. The march was the forge, and the men who survived it were as hard as steel. Thanks for joining me on this trek back in time. If you found this journey into the life of a Roman soldier fascinating, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Let me know in the comments what other aspects of the Roman army you'd like to explore. Until next time, stay curious.